ended up with a scholarship to Princeton. Not bad for a kid who got expelled, right? Ends up becoming an aeronautical engineer. I figured that out. You don't have to read or spell very much. And then he went on to become a test pilot. He flew 4 flights in space. He was a guy who nailed a pinpoint landing on the moon, along with Alan Bean, who you've seen in our on Apollo 12. He was the 3rd man to walk on the moon, and then he was awarded a Congressional Space Medal of Honor for rescuing Skylab, which was actually our first space station, and now we have International Space Station flying around Earth, a permanent presence in space. Pete was an entrepreneur, he was an innovator, and it was because of his education that he was able to excel. And so we took those 3 pieces of innovation, education, and entrepreneurship, and that is the core basis of what we do in this work at the Spirit of Innovation Challenges. So we're very proud to honor Pete's legacy, and I think you would have really dug our keynote speaker for tonight, because Chip Yates is sort of a young version of that Pete Conrad-ism, the stride that was Pete. And Chip is also an innovator, and he's an entrepreneur, and he's a guy who's committed to breaking the boundaries of ordinary thinking. I know Pete would have dug this guy. Let me tell you a little bit about Chip Yates. So Chip is an electric vehicle pioneer and a multiple world record holder known worldwide for pushing the envelope in innovation and green technology advancement. He earned a master's degree from the University of Southern California. He's a prolific inventor with 9 patents, including 3 on a Jeep Grand Cherokee and 3 so far on advanced electric vehicles with additional patents pending. In 2011, Chip led a team of 3 engineers in creating an all-electric superbike, which he rode at speeds over 200 miles per hour to earn him more than 13 national, world records, and national records, and several champion titles. That's really fast, you guys, on a motorcycle. I mean, IndyCar drivers are doing that. He currently holds the official FIM and Guinness Book of World Records titles for the world's fastest electric motorcycle. I am so not going for a ride with you on that, Chip. His electric motorcycle is now owned and preserved on a permanent display at the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles. Go see it if you're ever in LA. So Chip didn't stop there. In May and June of 2012, he designed and built the world's most powerful electric aircraft. Since then, he set the world record for the world's fastest electric airplane by reaching a top speed of 202.6 miles per hour, beating a previous record of 175 miles per hour held by the French. And I know about guys who like to break world records. Pete broke one around the world in a Lear 35, so you're in the same league here, Chip. The U.S. Navy recently signed an R&D contract with Chip when they realized the high-efficiency electric plane was difficult to see with the infrared tracking gear due to its very low heat signature. He recently invented and patented a method of recharging an electric airplane mid-flight that allows for heavy payload and infinite range, making legitimate electric flight a reality today. Currently, his team is preparing for Chip to fly along the Charles Lindbergh historic transatlantic route. And if that's not enough, Chip is working with international officials to verify his record-making feats. So words that are associated with a guy like Chip include tenacity, perseverance, ingenuity, enthusiasm, and I think once you meet Chip Yates, you're going to understand why a guy like Pete Conrad would really dig this guy. Chip?
Have some fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. So Nancy's right. I cannot sit still. So I told them the camera has to be movable because I'm not staying in one place. I have some ideas. I'm going to write them down. Okay, so I'm dying to tell you what I've been doing over the last 2 weeks. This is my electric airplane, and I literally flew here from the California desert, where me and a couple engineers are in the middle of trying to set 5 official world records in this airplane right here. So that's going to be the focus of my talk is what are we doing, what's happening with that? But I'm going to focus today, this is weird, but I'm going to focus on failures and overcoming failures in the context of innovating. Because, coming up and saying, yeah, I flew the plane and we set a world record and then we landed and went out and got a hamburger, that's not exciting, that's not interesting, that's not how you learn. So tonight's going to be failure night, so welcome failures. You didn't think that was coming. So yeah, like Nancy said, last year we built this airplane in 2 months. I wasn't a pilot, so I got my pilot's license in the same 2 months, so those were tiring 2 months. And we flew the world record, and I blew up the battery pack in the process and made an emergency landing. My first emergency landing. There are others. We'll talk about those. This is a picture from last month of us putting a 550-pound state-of-the-art lithium-ion battery pack in the airplane and working in a hangar in the California desert near China Lake under incredibly hot conditions. Let's just leave it at that, 100, 105 degrees. So we've got fans blowing on us and we're trying to set these records. So about two and a half weeks ago, we get the plane all put together, brand new batteries, everybody's happy. We take off and it actually flies, okay, which is awesome. Go down the runway, you're wondering if it's gonna fly or not. And so we're out there doing some test flying and nothing goes right. So this is a picture of my workbench. And guess who gets to do all the dirty stuff? I get to do all the talks and I get to do all the oil changes and wheel bearings too. So this is my workbench. After the first flight, I landed, we got a flat tire, bearings failed, and the brakes were inadequate because the plane is heavy now with all these batteries. So we fixed that. Then on the next 3 flights, we had a series of 3 oil leaks, which amazing, electric airplane has oil, but it does. We have it in there to cool the chain. And so every flight, for 3 flights, we had oil leaks where my chase pilot, who's flying right behind me to make sure I'm safe, he would say, hey, you got oil streaming out the back, you need to abort and come back and land. So that was, the next 3 flights were those. Then we got the oil to stay in the plane, but it was getting too hot, of course. So this is how you make fiberglass parts. So I made this part, I'm proud of it because it didn't come out crooked. But what you do is you take this foam and you sculpt it and you put fiberglass over it. So we did that, and then the oil temperatures came down. Awesome. Then we started having problems with our electric motor. We've never had problems with our electric. That electric motor has 11 world records on it. That came out of our electric motorcycle. So we donated the bike to the Peterson Automotive Museum, but we stole the motor out of it. We're like, you guys aren't going to need this, okay? It's sitting in a museum. All right. So we finally get the plane all put together, and we're thinking now's the time. And literally the next day when we fixed all these problems, all these failures, the FAI, which is the world record body, comes to the California desert where we are, and they send an official, and he's very official, and he's got a data recorder that I'll show you, and we are working to set these 5 world records. So what he does is they give us this black box, and we put it in the airplane, and it records everything, so they're not going to take your word for it. And it's wired into the airplane, and we get ready to do a flight Monday. And when I say Monday, I mean last Monday. So this is happening right now as we speak. I stopped what I was doing, came here. I'm like, I'm going to tell you about all my failures, and then I go back in the desert and succeed. Okay, all right. Cross your fingers, right? So this was this past Monday. We had a plan where we're after 5 records, but you can knock out 3 in one flight. You take off, you do time to climb, how fast you climb, top altitude, and then sustained altitude. Piece of cake. So we take off. And I rotate the plane, and I'm flying 2,000 feet a minute. That's how I'm climbing, which is insane for an airplane. So my chase pilot's in this racing airplane. He can't keep up with me. This is all electric. It just goes. It's a rocket ship. I'm climbing 2,000 feet a minute from the deck all the way to 14,500 feet. I'm still not out of batteries, but I go, I'll stop there. We'll see how it goes. Level off, done for 90 seconds, and that's 3 world records. So we're like, woohoo, this is awesome. We set 3 world records. Come back down. That's during the climb. That's the climb phase there, okay? Looking very serious, very serious. And we come back down, I get out of the plane, and everybody's saying, awesome, you did it, that's gonna be 3 in the bag in one flight. I actually stand up, kind of cocky, 3 world records. And this is the judge, this guy, Brian Utley. In fact, he didn't do anything wrong. So Brian, you saw Felix Baumgartner when he jumped after the balloon 100,000 feet and did that thing, Red Bull. This was the judge. He was in the rescue helicopter. He was the guy that certified the altitude. That's Brian. So we approach Brian with, and so Brian says, an hour later, we're celebrating, and he says, hey man, I can't certify those 3 records. We think you were sitting on the cord that measures the pressure. So my bum stopped me from getting 3 world records. Okay, so that was the morning. Okay, awesome. We're calling that a data glitch. In NASA terms, that would be called an anomaly. A launch, when the rocket does that, that's a launch anomaly. So that's a data glitch that my bum stopped us. And then, okay, so listen, we're like, I was upset, for an hour, and then we recharged the battery. It took about 4 hours to get everything perfect. We're gonna fly again we're gonna go for record number 4. 3 don't count, but it's number 4. And we said we're gonna get up there and do the speed over a 15-kilometer course, because it's simple. You just fly out, you fly back, and there's no record in that category now, so just fly it, don't crash. You get the record. Okay, so that one's, it sounds easier than it was. So what we're doing is we're actually towing the airplane out to the runway so we don't waste the batteries for these records. So they tow me out, get ready, I'm set up, ready to go, and this 30-knot crosswind starts blowing, and it's wind shear. And it's literally like, danger, wind shear, caution, don't fly. So I had to actually say, all right, I'm gonna be the most responsible one here, which normally I'm not. We're gonna stop doing that, we're gonna go back. So that was my Monday. How was your Monday? That was my Monday. Tuesday, all right, we sleep in, get some scrambled eggs, we're ready to go. Tuesday, it's a whole new day, and Discovery Channel was coming. We didn't have them come Monday because I was thinking, you know what, this isn't gonna go smoothly, and it didn't. So Discovery Channel's there, and they want to film this. So Tuesday morning, this last Tuesday, we said we're gonna do the 5 kilometer, which is fast, and it's a crowd pleaser because you do it 500 feet off the deck. And we're flying along, and so they can film us. And that one I said I'm gonna do 200 miles an hour just to get the record in the bag. And we can do that in this airplane at 60% throttle. It makes 250 horsepower, so it's incredibly powerful. So my plan is just fly it at 200 miles an hour, don't break anything. Okay, easier said than done. This is my week. So we wake up in the morning, gorgeous morning, take a couple pictures. We got the Discovery Channel there. That's Zach Reeder. He works for Scale Composites, Burt Rutan's old company, and he's my chase pilot. So you're going to see a video, and you're going to hear him on the video. That's him saving my life in a minute. And so Zach, stay tuned, folks. So Zach gets in his plane, which is a Vans RV-8, very fast, very powerful. Of course, my electric airplane running on nothing but batteries beats him in every category, and he hates to talk about that. But so when he's flying, this is kind of his view. He can, he can look and see me, and he tells me, he flies under me and says, you're leaking or you're not leaking, whatever. And then when we're coming in for a landing, he can say, you're 15 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, and so on, okay? So that's why I have Zach with me, is to do safe stuff. And this is a video that no one's seen before of my flight just on Tuesday, and why I'm here to talk about failures and how to overcome them. So if we can roll the video. There he is, cool, calm, and collected.
Clear for the 3 turn to the right. Clear 30 right, and foot gear up now.
All right, so I'm going to talk us through this a little bit.
Oil pump's on.
That's the oil pump where we had all the leaks, but it's working. Great.
You're clean and dry. Clean and dry, thanks for that.
Okay, so we're not leaking oil. That's also great.
You're clear for the turn inbound. Am I far enough past for the turn? Yeah, you're more than the distance between the approach and the start.
Okay, so he's telling me that you're okay to turn around and go through the gate. It's a timing gate. Okay, ready for the turn, guys. So I'm only at about 500 feet over the ground right here. They want these world records flown low. So that translates to, it's kind of dangerous because if anything goes wrong, you're low. So what I'm thinking here is I've got the plane going 200 miles an hour. I literally am only at 60% throttle. You're going to see the airport pass by on the right side.
Approaching the approach point. Roger that. There's the approach. Approach, roger.
Okay, so I'm allowed to dive a little bit. So I'm actually diving a little bit by the rules
There's the start.
down to 200 feet. So I'm diving down, you see I'm going to be 200 feet. I mean, you're cutting the top of bushes off. Boom.
I got a problem.
Failure. No power at all. So what I did is I pulled back and I pitched up. And I saw that road.
You're clear back.
And I said, I'm going to land on this road right here. It's a public road right there.
Emergency landing will be off field.
See, I said I'll be off field.
Looks like you're good to go if you go to 1-0. Okay, I'll try 1-0.
So Zach says, he's behind me, he can see what's going on. And he says, no, you're good to go to 1-0 if I think you can glide and make it. I wasn't sure because it was behind me, I can't see it. So this is the face of someone who thinks they might crash. And then I thought I was going to land short. I said I'm going to be in the dirt. And look how low it is. That is not right. This is Tuesday, last Tuesday. Just cleared the threshold.
Press landing, yes. Man, Chip.
Woo! Why do I do this stuff? My mom's watching. Mom, why do I do this stuff? Okay, so what we took everything apart, and we found that was a fly-by-wire failure. It actually wasn't our fault, So it wasn't anything like we were rushing, we weren't being safe. It was a freak accident. So my plane is fly-by-wire, and we work on a CAN bus. There's a little black box, and it's a CAN bus network controller, and a capacitor just broke out. And when we took it apart, you could hear it rattling. We're like, that's not right. I'm no electrical engineer, but that's not right. So that's it. So here we go. I spend 30 days in the desert in a hotel room, probably $10,000 that I don't have. I've got guys that have flown in to certify the world records. I've got the world's fastest electric airplane. I set 0 world records, and then come here to tell you about all my failures. Awesome. So why is that? I mean, why should we talk about failures? And it's because you can't have success, you can't innovate if you're not prepared to accept failures that come. When I say failure, I don't mean a failure happens and you quit. I mean, this is what happens. If you're on the right track and you're doing stuff and you're moving the ball forward, if you're doing legitimate stuff, it's fraught with setbacks, failures. And I'm going to show you how we deal with those, because I've had more than my share. And but here's a question. That's my electric motorcycle blown up at Bonneville. We fixed it and set 8 world records later that day. Who fails more often, successful people or unsuccessful people? It's successful people fail more often because they're doing stuff. I mean, like Donald Trump, he's been bankrupt, and I haven't been bankrupt, but I'm not rich. So I mean, it's people that are out there doing stuff, trying, pushing the limits, and ultimately they end up being successful because they're willing to have failures come their way and not let that define them. So you can't, when you guys are brainstorming, you're thinking of ideas and you go out and you're executing these things, you have to take these things in stride, because this is what's going to happen. You cannot have innovation if you don't have risk. It could be financial, you put all your money into it. It could be physical, like me. I could have crashed and you'd have nobody standing here and you'd be watching a pre-recorded tape. We have that as a backup. Reputation, you put your name on the line for this company and it fails. And what I want to convey is that it's okay to have failures that go with innovation. It's in some ways, it's almost proof that you're on the right track. So if you go out and you say, hey, for the Conrad Awards, we're going to propose this, and we're going to build this thing, and it's a solution to that, and every single thing you do just goes perfectly, you either got incredibly lucky, or you probably didn't move the ball forward. You probably just did something. You probably didn't take any risk. And as a result, there's not going to be a big reward at the end of it. So with failures, the worst case is you learn something, you smash the plane to the ground and you learn that CAN bus thing broke. Or the best case is you get new opportunities, and that's what I found. So the only reason I'm here talking to you guys today is because my tire of my race motorcycle touched that guy's tire right there at the red spot, causing me to go flying over the handlebars at high speed and breaking my pelvis. And the resulting injury was that I could not walk for a month. Why is that a good thing, you're asking? It is. Because I couldn't walk, I said, I'm stuck in front of my computer where I can design stuff, and I designed the world's most powerful electric motorcycle in the months that I couldn't walk. Here's me crashing through a mile marker at 150 miles an hour in the Bonneville Salt Flats trying to set another world record. Why is that a good thing? I'm actually not sure why that's a good thing. I'm not sure. Oh, we figured out, we wrote some stability control software. It is a good thing. It's a good thing. These are all failures because we're out at the leading edge. Companies like Boeing and NASA is actually looking at us, the US Navy is looking at us. We're just a couple of goofballs. We're like you. I'm not saying you're goofballs. I'm just saying we're just, you know, we're in a garage. Call us a garage operation. We're a few guys and we work long hours and we're doing this stuff. But no one's ever built a motorcycle that powerful that's electric. No one's built a bike that could compete with gas bikes. No one's built a plane like mine that could compete with gasoline airplanes. No one's had a battery pack as big as ours. You know, we can put out 600 amps continuously at 450 volts. People don't even imagine, that's insane. So that's a failed lithium-ion battery at the top left. There's a broken drive shaft that we're learning from all this. Here's a battery charging card that we lit on fire. If you look closely, it's all black. All of those things were failures. All of those things were fortuitous because we learned from them and we never do it again. So for me, you know, my broken pelvis was I invented this electric motorcycle that set 10 world records. When we built the motorcycle and we tried to race it in an electric racing series, and they banned us. They said, it's too powerful, you're banned, and we thought, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, after a year of building this thing in a garage, and in a way that could beat gas bikes, we can't race it. And within like a week or two, we got back on our feet and we said, let's turn that setback of being banned into a huge opportunity. And we entered this electric motorcycle in a gasoline motorcycle race. And I came in second in the first race from starting last, and I came in third in the next race, and it set the world on fire because no one had seen the audacity of somebody building a thing in their garage and then going out and racing it against Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, and actually beating them. I mean, it was like we won. You know, we've had accidents at Bonneville. When I stopped racing motorcycles, it gave me the plane. All these problems we're having with the plane. These are all good things. I mean, can you imagine being banned and then becoming, you know, like somebody who's out talking about electric vehicle innovation because somebody banned you? It's incredible. So I want to tie all that back. It's kind of an introduction about all the suffering that I've been doing for the last 30 days in the name of innovation, and why it matters to the Conrad Foundation, why it matters to you guys who are streaming from around the world. And by the way, welcome and thank you. I heard people were from Madagascar. That's awesome. Do you speak? I don't know. Are you understanding us? So, with the Conrad Foundation and to preserve Pete's legacy, we need you guys to be big thinkers, okay? Big, big, big thinkers. So when I wake up in the morning, I do not think about how can I make money. I don't wake up and say, I gotta make money. I wake up and think, how can I make the world a better place? How can I do something that makes a difference? So after I pass away, sooner or later, you know, with the airplane, who knows? After that somebody could look back and say, oh yeah, you know, that made a difference. So when you guys, right after this session, you're gonna brainstorm. And what I wanna leave you with is, number one, dream big, huge. Brainstorm things you're passionate about. You know why? Because I'm not getting paid doing this. When I build these electric vehicles, I'm out there for 16-hour days and it's hot and it's tiring, and the only thing that keeps me going is passion. So you guys got to do that. Pick something that you really love, okay? Allow the ideas to flow. So when you're brainstorming, don't stop, don't cut anybody off, you know, let it all flow, but then you got to start looking at feasibility and look at your time frame. Can we execute this great idea in the time we have? Will we be able to do the money? Is it too outrageous? Can we get it done? One thing that I look at a lot is, does the outcome justify the effort? So imagine you're successful, because you will be, and if you are successful, was it worth all the inputs? You know, so it's a saying that I have, and it's just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you think of an idea and it's like, well, yeah, it's going to cost $10 million to do something that saves $1 million. Okay, well, great, you can do that, but why would you? All right, so think about that when you're coming up with your projects, and use visualization. I've used that as a technique in everything I've done, from becoming a pro motorcycle racer to entering in the world championship to building the airplane, becoming a pilot. You can literally almost just lay in bed and think through all the steps and think through wherever you have hiccups or you can't visualize that is an area of weakness where you might want to bring on an expert or hire somebody or look at adding resources. You guys got to then pick the best pick your best ideas, and I say find the customer. I don't mean a customer like I'm going to sell you something necessarily, but I mean even if you're doing you want to improve water in a village in Africa, you should find out what do they need specifically. So don't develop some awesome filtration system that needs 220 volts and they don't have it. So they're your customer in that scenario. You know what I mean? It's like, here's the gift. Well, we don't have the plug. It's the gift that eats. Then your next year's project is going to be a generator to pay for the gift that you put in there that isn't working. Okay? And then this is something I learned from University of Southern California, USC. They're like, hey, all the business models, all the ivory tower, you can sit on the internet and plan, but at the end of the day, you got to hit the streets, find your customer, go out there and talk to people. So don't do analysis paralysis where you're just sitting on the internet 24/7, refining your idea. You got to go out and talk to somebody, make sure you're on the right track and get moving. So it's a phrase that I started saying, and my dad loves it now. It's called, you can't steer a parked car. It's like, you got to actually start moving the car forward, and then you can tweak it. And the one thing that you have to know when you go into innovation and when you go into this business of changing the world is that it will never end up the way you visualize it at the beginning. And that's not a bad thing. It's when you talk to investors and venture capitalists, they look for people who can adjust. So you go this way, something happened, and you went the other way. Okay, you have to be able to do that. And that's steering the car. So my dreams. I mean, we talked about it. I was working a regular job in a cubicle, and I said, I want to be a professional motorcycle racer. That's weird. Why would you say that? But I said that. And so I did that. I said, I want to be I want to do the world championship. I did that. I want to be build electric motorcycle, electric airplane, all this stuff. What is the next thing I'm doing? I want to fly an electric airplane across the Atlantic Ocean on Charles Lindbergh's route. That, my friends, is crazy. That's what I'm talking about. That's the big, it's the big thinking, the big picture. And it's something where if we work hard and we pull it off, it could make a difference to the whole world. It could open up electric flight to the masses. So in other words, it's worth your time. It's worth my effort. If you succeed, it's huge. All right, so what's involved? I mean, here's my crazy sketch. This is kind of like a popular science-y type thing. But what this is this is just an idea, but it's, we want to build sort of a 100-foot wingspan plane, and then as we fly 3,600 miles across the Atlantic Ocean in an all-electric airplane, which, by the way, cannot make it, we want to be recharged as we fly by UAVs, unmanned air vehicles, which are, in essence, giant flying battery packs. That is totally crazy. However, wait, we found a way to do it. When I say we, I mean I'm taking credit for the work of a lot of smart people, and that's we. So this is our plan, and it's literally, we've found a way with today's battery technology where if we use 5 UAV docking events, we could make it across the Atlantic Ocean. We can make it 3,600 miles. All right, so this is my thing. I'm going to give you 6 things to think about. Number 1, this imagine and dream step, and I'm going to tie it to my flying across the ocean. So I'm imagining and dreaming big that I'm going to be able to fly an electric airplane across the ocean. That's big. That counts. Okay. You can't change the world by making incremental improvements. So for the Conrad Spirit of Innovation Awards, we need big thinkers. Okay. Number 2, what specifics need to happen to enable your dream? For me, it's you've got this huge thing and it's a huge undertaking. But if you actually break it down and you're like, look, this guy wants to build an electric airplane and it's got to be recharged by UAVs. All right, so we have docking. Okay, how are you going to do that? How actually physically is the connection going to be made, and then what's going to happen? Are you going to recharge? Are you just going to tow it and use its batteries? But I can break this incredible sort of problem down into like 5 steps. It's like logistics, docking, autopilot control, UAV, launch and recover operations. And you look, and none of those are impossible. Not by a long shot. They're not impossible. Build your team. Everybody knows that. So this is, before we had an office, we just met at restaurants. These guys all have master's degrees in aerospace engineering, and we're sitting in a restaurant, eating hamburgers, drinking iced tea, trying to change the world. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need millions of dollars of funding. We've got patents filed and world records and all this nonsense, and we just did it, a couple guys who have a passion and a dream, and that's exactly what we expect out of you guys. Number 4, innovate and invent. Okay, so you've broken your big dream down into bite-sized things. Now, these aren't dictionary definitions, but my definition sort of innovate is combining things that might be out there in a really clever way. You don't have to reinvent things. Inventing is sort of, wow, there's nothing. We got to come up with something from scratch. And we've had to do that. This is the electric airplane that I'm flying right now to set the world records. And when I'm flying it for the world records, I don't have a blue probe on it. But that is our patent-pending front-mounted recharging probe. And so next month, for the US Navy, we're going to demonstrate the world's first mid-air recharge, where I fly up behind my friend who's flying a plane. Hopefully he's flying it well and steady. And I dock with him, and we recharge the batteries on board my electric airplane. That whole side of it's already done. We're just finishing the development of the drogue, they call it a drogue chute, that gets towed, and we make the connection. So we're actually taking steps for the Lindbergh plane with the current plane. Okay, we have a flying test bed. Number 5, execute, fail, adjust, overcome. This is part of the get started. Most great ideas fail because of lack of execution. So everybody in here has ideas. Everybody around the world has ideas. But very few of those ever see the light of day because of execution. It's sort of like, well, I don't have the money, I'm not sure how to do it. If you are somebody who executes, you are a valuable person indeed, okay? And what happens when you execute and you try to change the world? You run into failures, right? So fail and get it out of the way. Learn from it. Make it into a positive opportunity. Take your lumps, move, go around it, keep going, do not quit. Adjust, you might have to adjust your trajectory. Overcome, you know what that means. Number 6 is not traditional. This is me saying that I think everybody should think about living a good and happy life. So when I wake up, I am lucky in that I can sort of wake up in the morning and say, what things can I do to try to change the world, okay? If you get there, it's awesome. If you make the right decisions and you work hard and you save and you have a vision and you get people surrounding you that believe in you, you can be in the spot where you can do this. I want you to come up with your ideas. I want you to put them into action. I want you to change the world. Harvest. Harvest means if you were trying to make money, make your money, move on and do something big. If you're not trying to make money, fine. Take this technology, transition it to other people, help people around the world, move on and do the next thing. I want to see everybody here reach their complete potential. It's totally, totally doable. And each one of us is responsible for doing that, for meeting our own potential. And if you look at the saying, I just came here and told you about nothing but failures. I look like a goofball. But my bad days where I have all those failures are 100 times better than most people's good days. So do I look upset that I just spent a ton of money and almost died and set 0 world records? No, I'm not upset at all. That's the business of innovation. If you can't accept that, then you're not in the innovation business. It's fine. Live outside your comfort zone. This is my last chart. I promise, I swear. I'm going to read some of it to you. I am most comfortable when I'm uncomfortable. So I don't like being comfortable. I've been to Hawaii, and I was supposed to be there for 10 days. I got 3 days into it. I'm like, I got to get out of here right away. I got stuff to do. So I like being in the desert when it's hot and I'm uncomfortable. And it seems like it's terrible, but it's not, because that's the price of progress. Be bold. We need you to be bold. Everybody here who has the Conrad name on what they're doing is responsible for carrying forward astronaut Pete Conrad's legacy. And it's an amazing legacy. And we need everybody here to do their absolute best. Huge visions. Change the world and make it happen. Resist pressure to take the safe route. I feel like there's too many people that are doing safe stuff now. It's okay if you fall on your face. Get up, keep going. Geniuses, if you'll notice, always do the unexpected. Always do the unexpected. When you look at the big things in the world that have been done by smart people or geniuses, and by the way, you don't have to be a genius, I'm just saying, if you look at geniuses, they always do things differently. They always look at things differently. So I'll leave you with, you own how you interact with the world and whether or not you lead a fulfilling life. That's up to you. So if you're in high school, I don't care. Your parents' job is to make sure you're safe and happy and educated, but not to make sure you live a fulfilling life. That is on you. You need to come out and think, how can I make the world a better place, and what steps do I need to take to do that? And we would say at the Conrad Foundation that the future of our society and of the planet, whether good or bad, the future of this planet is in the hands of your generation. So, no pressure. And the world's getting more populated with more and more issues, and we need great people, great thinkers, great teams, and we need you to do this for us. So go out there and make us proud. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Wow, huh? Who knew? So, you know, one of Pete's favorite expressions was, in the space business, failure's not an option, and in entrepreneurship, it's mandatory. So we just saw someone who really understands that expression. And also, I love, Chip, that I just want to underscore how important it is for young people and the kids that come into our competition and all these young, this whole innovation generation, how important it is for you all to design the future and to really make things that are amazing, not just because it's cool and fun and whatever, but it will leave a better world for all of us. So thank you again, Chip. We'll be able to talk to him in a little bit. Jen? Oh, you put it back up. Oh.
So speaking of some of the wonderful participants in our program, I would like to introduce Mario and Madison. First up, Madison, who is a member of the 2012 Aerospace and Aviation winning team, Team Infinity. Her team is developing a fabric constructed of phase-changing crystals to provide a better alternative to liquid cooling and ventilation garments used in astronauts. In addition, it has multiple on-Earth applications. Currently, Madison is a sophomore at Brigham Young University studying industrial design. Next, we have Mario Chris, a finalist in the 2013 Aerospace and Aviation Challenge from Team Xavier Falcons. His team created an adaptive leading-edge droop mechanism, and their product will improve fuel efficiency as well as flight safety on planes. We are very pleased to announce that Mario's team just received the $5,000 grant from the Intellectual Property Owners Education Foundation. So congratulations, Mario. Currently, Mario is a freshman at Stanford University majoring in engineering in aeronautics and astronautics. He is also serving as a TAN-HC outreach ambassador at Stanford, working to bring potential entrepreneurs into the Rev Up program to help underprivileged entrepreneurs make their ideas a reality. Mario is also the design process lead and assistant to media communications lead in the Operation Leopard conducted by Conrad Creative Collaboration, which we had the inaugural event this year at our Innovation Summit, and Mario will tell you more about that in a minute. So come on up, guys.
All right, hello everybody. Oh, hello. Again, my name is Madison Jones, and like Jennifer said, I'm from Team Infinity. And we are a group of 4 students who attended West Salem High School in Salem, Oregon. It was a very interesting journey for us. None of the 4 of us ever really considered math or science to be our forte. Some of us probably still wouldn't, but nevertheless, it was a very fun and innovative adventure that we went on when creating our project, the Infinity Suit. Jennifer told you a little bit about it. The Infinity Suit is an undergarment for astronauts to wear. It's made of a temperature-sensitive material that can self-regulate body temperature. And our vision for this was to use it in the place of what astronauts currently use, which is the liquid cooling and ventilation garment. So we got this idea, and we were so excited. We were so excited about it. But we had to ask ourselves 2 questions before we could move on. 1, why? And 2, so what? Why? Why were we doing this? Why did we want to create this? And so what? What is the purpose of this? What is this going to accomplish? We asked ourselves why and concluded that we wanted to create a product to provide ease and comfort for our astronauts, and most importantly, to keep them safe. So, next, we tackled building. which is where every innovator's hopes and fears are materialized. It shows you the really good things about your project and the really bad things that need fixing. We just heard a wonderful presentation about failure, and that's definitely some advice you should heed. To tackle this project of building, we split it up into 3 phases. Phase 1, we had one goal in mind, and that was just to get it to work. No matter what it looked like, no matter how bulky it was or kind of odd looking, and trust me, it did not look pretty. We took our materials and we slapped them together. But it worked, and that's what we needed in order to go on to phase 2. Phase 2 is what we took to the competition, and you can see in the slide above the sleeves that we're wearing, the purple and the yellow. That was our phase 2 prototype. We were able to create a sleeve that looked much nicer, as well as was more efficient and closer to our end goal in mind. Phase 3, I stand here today currently in phase 3 of this project. Phase 3 involves a lot more research, talking to a lot more people, and really getting down to the nitty-gritty in order to make this project happen and to get it out on the market. We've had incredible support and help from the Conrad Foundation, even post-competition. And with that, we are so excited to see the future for our Infinity Suit. And at this time, I'm going to turn the time over to Mario so he can tell you about his project.
Thanks, Madison. So last year at the 2013 Innovation Summit, my teammate John Reed and I actually worked together to design the adaptive leading edge droop mechanism, as Jen said earlier. And I think what really helped us get as far as we were able to get up to this point is that we collaborated together by involving our independent interest and skills, specifically John being involved a lot in materials engineering and my interest in aerospace engineering. And I think what this did for us was to help us efficiently split up tasks in order to create a device that actually has potential for real-world impact. And so I'll go into what the actual device is. Basically, it attaches to the leading edge of wings, and it uses its functionality to adapt in order to increase fuel efficiency and optimize that reduction in fuel consumption for each flight condition throughout the duration of the flight, as well as increasing flight safety, which a lot of today's devices aren't able to match the technology that we were innovating, basically in the areas of efficiency, safety, price, and ease of usage. And so during our experience of this project as project manager, what I did involved a lot of initially technical leadership in the project in terms of establishing a design process for us to follow efficiently, as well as continuing to lead the public interactions that helps us find efficient venues to acquire funding, as well as publicizing our project and gaining consultation in order to bring it to the market. And so currently, as we try to find these funding sources, the importance is because our preliminary goal is to continue in our ongoing process of acquiring a patent to secure our idea, and to ultimately strive to partner with already existing aviation companies in order to bring our device to the viable market according to federal aviation regulations. And so I think throughout this process, John and I would agree that what really distinguished the Spirit of Innovation Challenge from any other engineering competition we've participated in is that it really pushes for innovation and encourages its participants to find the inner entrepreneurs in all of us rather than just limit ourselves to conceptualization of an idea. And I think personally I can say that participating in the challenge last year for the first time really was a turning point in my life, in that it made me want to be more than just an engineer, to be an entrepreneur and actually bring my engineering concepts to the real world in order to impact people's lives in reality and not just leave it as a classroom experience. And so I think that that has to really be praised on Nancy Conrad's part for bringing this foundation, since it's really impacted the lives of many students, including myself. And so just to end with a little bit of advice for all you diamond in the rough entrepreneurs, as Chip Yates said earlier, definitely find something that you would love to pursue, that you are really in love with, and that you would definitely devote all your time to, and no matter what the sacrifices involved are. And always be willing to learn and grow, because even if independent thinking is great, it's always greater to collaborate with our independent thoughts in order to build a better world.
I'd also like to talk about how the Conrad Foundation and the Spirit of Innovation Awards, that whole experience has impacted my life. It's really 3 key ways, and I feel confident in saying it's probably impacted other students who have gone through this process as well. First, it's helped me grow as a student. It's taught me a work ethic that has been extremely beneficial now that I'm going to classes and in college. And to be in an environment with other students just as excited and thrilled about the world and innovation and a wide range of subjects, you name it, there will be someone there who that is their interest. It really helped me grow academically. Second, it helped me grow as an innovator. It provides so many opportunities for those who are wanting to get involved. It provides people to talk to, both experienced entrepreneurs and innovators that want to share their wisdom with you. It's there for the taking, you just gotta listen. As well as, again, fellow students who are on the same level as you that you can interact with and learn from. Third, this foundation and this experience and this competition has really helped me grow as a person. Sorry. It's taught me a lot about, It's taught me a lot about being confident in myself, being ambitious, and facing challenges not with fear but with excitement. It's taught me a lot about coming together with other people to create solutions, just to make the world better. And not only that, but the Conrad Foundation itself and all the people involved, from Nancy and Jennifer and Carrie and Alex, just the role models that they are to me and the students involved. It's really taught me a lot about how I want to live and direct my life, and so I thank them. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. At this point, I want to give back to those who are eager to participate in this competition here on out with a couple of tips I have for you. So listen carefully. First, work with people that you like because you are going to be spending a lot of time with them. Second, the brainstorming process totally works. I highly recommend it. It not only can be a lot of fun, but it's a great way to explore really unique ideas. And it's fun to kind of see how you get from point A to point B in just 60 minutes. Third, be sure to delegate responsibilities. I promise you, you're not going to want to do everything all on your own, and that's why it's a team project. Fourth, get a calendar and plan out your deadlines, because there's nothing worse than having one of those sneak up on you. Fifth, be sure to research so you know if your idea will really work. It's going to help out in the long run. And sixth, if you have any questions or need advice, you have a wonderful tool, and it is the forum of the Conrad community. And you can go there and request help or ask questions. And we're also on there if you just want to say hi. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mario. Thank you.
Thanks, Madison. So as Jen mentioned earlier, the Conrad Foundation has also been doing another great activity called the Conrad Creative Collaboration. And so basically, the C3 Conrad Creative Collaboration brings together the finalist students from each Innovation Summit in order to address a real-world problem and bring a real societal impact in the long run. And so this year, we're conducting Operation Leopard. And so through C3, as a teen-powered problem-solving think tank, we're able to work towards finding a solution to the problem in the Tumnipada village near Mumbai, where basically villagers are suffering under the threat of leopard attacks as they have to trek daily over 2 kilometers in order to gather water from very far off in the forest. And so this Operation Leopard has been conducted under the leadership of Peter Hahn and his son Fabian Fernandez Hahn. And during the collaboration event this past summit, we have actually already begun brainstorming several great ideas. And as design process lead, it's been really encouraging to see the entire team working together, going through the process so far of finding a concrete design plan that will help us eventually achieve our final goal of having at least one field-tested solution in Mumbai by April 2014. And so it's really gratifying to go through this experience through the Conrad Foundation of bringing a real-world impact to people who really need our help. And so that's another experience that we'll all be definitely grateful for the Conrad Foundation.
If you're as impressed as we are by the work of these young students, we have a great way for you to support them and get involved in helping them change the world. This week we launched our first crowdfunding campaign, and we are striving to raise $40,000 in 40 days to fund grants that will go directly to student projects like these.
Yeah, as Jennifer just said, every dollar donated helps projects like ours get out on the market.
And you can actually learn more about how to help out the Conrad Foundation achieve this using our donations page on the Conrad website or the link shown above. And thank you so much for all your time and help.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We wish you all the best luck in the world. All right, next I would like to invite Claude Charron to stage. He's the winner of the 2013 Nancy Conrad Innovative Teacher of the Year Award. Claude is an accomplished teacher from Gulliver Schools in Miami, Florida. He's a coach of 2 winning teams, the 2013 Eco Cooker and the 2012 Team Gulliver International. Claude has taught at Gulliver since 1998, and he started the school's state-of-the-art engineering program in 2004 and created both the biomedical science program and the middle school pre-engineering program in 2008. Under Claude's supervision, Gulliver's engineering program has won national acclaim for projects and initiatives. He is an educator committed to finding unique and engaging ways to help his students learn, but not only learn, but create projects to benefit humanity. In short, he's one of our favorite people. Welcome, Claude.
Thank you. I think I speak for everybody here. How do you follow that? You don't. There's no way. I just want to state, Chip, I don't know if he's here or not, but that was amazing. I can't wait to show my students that. I hope it's taped if they missed it. And my God, what students, when people say there's issues in the world and I see students like that, I feel very comfortable and confident that we have some people here that are going to make a real difference. They already have. They're leaders today. They're not waiting till tomorrow to be leaders. So what I'm going to do is be very brief, quick, and to the point. But what I hope you can leave with is the support. If there is any questions from a coach, specifically a coach standpoint, of how to get started, resources, how do I get past this obstacle, along with the support that you've seen, and I don't need to say it over because we've gone through it. There's several coaches that are dedicated, and there's one here too, or at least one I see, that would love to help you, because when you succeed, everybody succeeds. How many challenges are like that, where if you succeed, everyone does? That's the unique difference between what we're seeing tonight to a lot of other competitions. So thank you for your time. So I'll be very quick. I'm going to talk about 5 quick points. One, why participate in Spirit of Innovation Challenge. I think we can skip through that. I think we're clear on why we should do this. So if I may, the only thing I want to address, if you're a teacher and you're trying to teach STEM, there's no more. This is the most exciting way to show relevance into the classroom. So I'll leave it at that. Number 2, how do you integrate into the class? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Science, technology, engineering, business classes, pick. If you can't implement it into the class, I strongly recommend doing a STEM or business-related club to meet on a regular basis so you can actually identify what Madison said so eloquently about certain things that need to happen for a successful team. Number 3, why do students do well in this particular project and program? My opinion, it gives the kids a blueprint and a map and a beginning of what to address that matters. Chip and Madison mentioned, have a point. What are you going to do and what are you trying to accomplish? And we have 4 categories that we need help with. Engineers don't see problems, they see opportunities. You see opportunities. A lot of people in here do. I see a problem, I see an opportunity, and the students in this program see the same thing, and we're excited because we're getting all these opportunities, so we want to continue to have them. So what it does is it provides a direction, if it's energy or if it's aerospace, but it's broad enough where the kids take ownership of their idea. And I see that in these 2. They took ownership. It's student-driven. The worst thing you can do as a coach to a coach is come up with the idea and tell them to do that. Absolutely do not do that. Please do not do that. Let the kids tell you what they are passionate about and what they want to work on. They are brilliant. And the brainstorming, absolutely, I would recommend that. And don't skip steps. Number 4, best practices to managing a team. To echo, Madison, you could just do this part for me too. But just let me emphasize, it's nice to have a team. It's nice to work together, and I will disagree a little with Madison. Sometimes you think you don't like somebody, and then you get to work with them a little bit, and you get to know them. So I encourage people that don't think they like each other to work together sometimes, and I know Madison agrees with that too. She didn't have a chance to come over here and rebuttal. So team roles and responsibilities and accountability is vitally important to a project. Have accountability. It's not like you're a bad person. No, this is the real world. What happens if you don't follow through? So a teaching and coaching role should address that. Timelines and using things like Gantt charts, extremely important, just like Madison mentioned as well. And with the actual Gantt chart, working with those mentors to make sure that you're on the right page. And just like Chip said, you have to be able to navigate through this. Using the tools available, I think they did a great job of explaining I'm not going to lie, I cried. Okay, I actually was teary-eyed seeing your presentation. It was just unbelievable. And the family that we have here, the more you're involved here, the more you realize that this is a family. And family doesn't kick people out, so we are inclusive to anyone that wants to be a part of this. Benefits, number 5. I'm just going to give you a very short personal reflection on this. And there's a lot of reasons why students start the process. Getting into college, writing a letter that means something, getting a job, internships, interviews. There's a lot of substance to this. There's no question and there's no denying the fact that there's so many different aspects, business, STEM. There's opportunities like meeting the president. That's pretty cool. And that's a pretty cool opportunity. So that is a great opportunity that was established by the Spirit of Innovation Challenge. I was very fortunate enough with 3 other students to go to the Rio Plus 20 Sustainable Systems Conference. And we were representing the United States. And it was truly the most humbling experience to meet people. So now this is where I conclude. And I think you touched on it. The post-support you get you get a seed money, and they don't stop there. They take an interest in your project. They want to be able to help you complete it. From the feedback, from the resources, from the hearing about the judges. We had 5 pages of, we wanted, but we had 5 pages of reasons of how it could be better. It was awesome. So from all of that, I'm happy to report to you that 4 months ago, that our device is working in Nigeria, our water system that we showed in this competition 2 years ago. And just like Chip mentioned, ironically enough, we needed to really do the research. What do they need? Do they have power? So our device meets their needs. So why do we do this? 4 months ago, I get an email, and I have pictures on my phone, and I happen to be with the students, and I saw this person with water and it was clear, and the message was, and it was translated for us, they've never seen clear water before. And they were drinking it. Everybody in that room realized at that moment why we do what we do. It wasn't about college. It wasn't about money. It was about changing this world and making it a better place and pushing the envelope. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much, Claude. I want to also take a moment to recognize all the hard work and commitment of teachers around the world that are watching, and all the teachers that are in here for the unique learning opportunities that you provide for your students. Thank you. On that note, I'd like to just make a few important announcements of this year's competition. We are excited to announce that this year's Innovation Summit will all take place here at NASA Johnson's Space Center, Houston. And actually in this room, we will be live streaming student presentations for the first time ever, which is really exciting. So mark your calendars. April 5th through the 8th is this year's Innovation Summit. And plans are underway for other updates, so check us out on our website or look for our newsletters. And as of tonight, the portal is now open, so we'd like to invite students to get ready, start your brainstorming sessions, and your one-page abstracts will be due on October 24th. And I would like to now take some questions, if we can see if we can touch base with some of the people on Google Hangout. Do we have that ready?
All right, our first question is going to be from all the way from Alaska, and it is from Kat Haber. She wants to ask Chip if he has ever designed a helicopter.
No, but that's a good idea.
Okay. Following up with that, did you ever meet Steve Fawcett, holder of many world records?
No, Steve is an inspiration to me. Actually, Steve Fawcett, you know, he passed away tragically, but his legacy lives on. In fact, on my board of directors is Chris Welsh, who purchased one of Steve Fawcett's very entrepreneurial projects and is now affiliated with the Virgin Group. And so if you look up Virgin Oceanic, it's run by Chris Welsh, who's on my board, and that was one of Steve Fawcett's visions and dreams. And so it's a great question, and you know, I take a lot of inspiration from Steve.
And to follow up with that, she said he once told her preparation was the secret to his success. How do you prepare for testing?
I need to prepare better, I think. We've got we've got 3 emergency landings. No, so no, that's exactly right. We have flight test engineers. We do morning briefings. We do a lot of things, and sometimes they're our fault. And you know, when I set the record last year, I sort of floored it, even though I knew the battery was low. And so we set the record, and then I had to make an emergency landing. That was 100% my fault. It was a calculated risk. Don't do that at home, people. But this year, you know, this emergency landing on Tuesday, that was really unforeseen, and so we'll study it. But yeah, preparation is key. I totally agree. Great question.
All right, Chip. The next one is going to be from Jonathan Hernandez from New Jersey. He wants to know, how do you find inspiration to create the next big product? So either Madison or Chip, you know, how did you find inspiration to create your product?
Well, inspiration's a funny thing in that it can come pretty much from anywhere. Honestly, what my team did, we sat in a room for probably about 4 hours. We had one big whiteboard, and every problem we could think of, we just threw on there. Even, I think burnt cookies was on there at one point. Like anything at all. And we're like, we won't judge, just if you think of something, throw it up there. And after we had this board of ideas, we just went through and we're like, okay, what can we do here? What can we do to fix this? And gradually we're like, oh, well, this would be cool. Oh, well, hey, how you doing?
So this is Jonathan, and that was his question.
Hi, Jonathan.
All right.
Hope your day has been well. And so but honestly, again, brainstorming is great because you start to get, oh, well, what if you could do this? Oh, well, you can do that, but it would be cooler to do this. And you kind of go from point A to point B until you have something. You're like, yes, this is the moment. And then 2 months later, you'll have something completely different. But it's kind of a step-by-step process. One thing will lead to another until you have, hopefully, a nice idea. Does that work? Does that answer your question?
That's a great answer.
Great.
Okay. And the last question is going to be from Abigail Radford. She's in North Carolina. She wants to ask Chip, what led you to pursue innovation in electric vehicles rather than addressing any other issues like in medicine or robotics?
It's a great question. So, I was racing motorcycles, and I was racing regular gasoline motorcycles, and I saw an announcement from a group in the UK that had the idea to create an electric motorcycle racing series. And so it intrigued me, and it was in the back of my head, but I kept doing what I was doing. And then when I crashed and broke my pelvis, I had the time. I thought, that is really cool, because as a regular motorcycle racer, I was just sort of middle of the field. I mean, why would I be winning these things? I didn't have any support from anybody, and maybe I'm not that talented. But as an engineer, I'm pretty good, and so you take a pretty good engineer, a pretty good motorcycle rider, put them together. I thought I could be dangerous in electric motorcycles. So that's how it came up. It was I thought this is something that would use all my skills across the board 100%. And so we started developing the electric motorcycle, and when that reached its natural conclusion after about 1.5 years and went to the museum, then I thought, hey, I think I want to be a pilot. And went that direction too. It's a great question, though. I'd love to do something afterwards. Maybe I will address medical issues.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
And that's going to conclude our questions from our Google Hangout.
All right, you guys can take a seat if you want. Yeah, you can go sit down. All right, I just wanted to thank everyone so much. Now it's time for all you virtual guests to start your brainstorming session and try to see how many ideas you can generate in the next 60 minutes. And be sure to post your ideas and pictures on Instagram using our hashtags for some great opportunities at prizes that we will have. So thank you so much, and get your genius on. Oh yeah, and let's wave one more time to all our virtual guests. And for everyone here, please join us in the Starship Gallery.